What's up, yo?
Hey, we found a scrambles.
I'm a thing. Have you
Let me.
played this shit yet?
Yeah, there's the screen share for you too. We've already encouraged Chex Mixin to trade uppercuts with you at LAN, so
Oh. So I should get dolled up, is what you're telling me?
hey man, you just gotta believe. Shivam is actually a bot sometimes. Hey, is he like a Doom bot or is he like a beginner bot? We gotta clarify this. Or is he just like one of those bots that's in those bot games that like plays Soraka and then just follows one person around the entire game? If we're diving into some trash talk, we gotta get good, laid out basis for it. Scrambles, how was your week?
Oh man, like it's good but fucking terrible all at the same time. Like I did legs on Monday and I really, I was feeling good and I did it pretty hard and like I can't walk, dude. I legit can't walk. Like so, it'll come around, but right now it's kind of sucks.
He's worse than a beginner's bot, so he's one of the intro bots that doesn't use abilities or anything. That's rough. So is he better or worse than one of the practice tool dummies?
How's your week, Maris?
Oh, it's been all right. This cross conference week is pretty spicy, so I'm looking forward to some of the casts, some of the previews here. We're it's also nice not recording stats for Gold League, so I feel like I've had extra hours worth of spare time.
Yeah, it's you're right. Like it's super spicy, but at the same time, nothing counts. So I mean, like I don't know, dude. I have mixed emotions. I have highly mixed emotions about what's happening right now.
Yeah, definitely agree. Like some teams are taking it seriously. You got that like glorified scrim almost, and then other teams are like, man, for instance, maybe we're just gonna run 4 tanks and Yasuo.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Anyway, we survived long enough for the intro video. We are about a minute late because of you, but that's okay.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the week 4 of the Get Wrecked Recall. My name is Meristematic as usual, and with me is my typical co-host. Unfortunately, took a break to play Odyssey today, but did make it in time. It's Scrambles.
Hey,
Uh,
that's all I got.
that's all you got.
That's all I got.
That's the intro we've been waiting for. This week we've got our week 3 recap. Go over some of that. We're gonna have the week 4 preview. It's Super Serious Diamond Week plus Gold Cross Conference Week, which I believe we're calling the Meme Dream Stream Week.
Yeah, it's the week where the winners go GG easy and the losers go, we didn't care anyway.
Yeah.
We weren't trying.
We got players of the week. We've got our predictions. We're doing a little bit different format, which we'll catch as we go, and then we're going to interview with the current top dogs in in the Plyman division, their jungler DrWildy. So just jump right in to the Plyman results this week. Unlucky Retribution took the 2-0 win over Oklahoma Diamond Rush. A 2-1 win for Sweet Anime Thighs over the Golden Gatekeepers. Team Fish Taco took down 100 Steves 2-1. Land Snick with the 2-0 over Propulsion Esports. Kansas Wesleyan with the 2-0 over Deathcap for Cutie. And the 2-0 for Return of the Middle Sticks over Kansas State. And I know a lot of those jump out, but we'll get to them in due time. Our first deep dive, I guess, is going to be Unlucky Retribution 2-0ing Oklahoma Diamond Rush. Uh, this was kind of the expected result coming out of this series.
Yeah, OGR had a sub, but at the same time, like, I don't know how much it really would have changed considering the standings of the two teams and how they've played up until this point.
Yeah, Trotalore has had a pretty strong season so far, even on Oklahoma Diamond Rush, who might be underperforming a little bit according to expectations. Um, but yeah, Unlucky Retribution looks far and away like the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, and I mean OGR's had a lot of shifting going on, and there's actually going to be even more of that coming up for the rest of the split. So I mean, it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances for those guys, and just kind of the way things are shaking out for this split.
Yeah, TN Sama had two really big games in that bot lane carry role, I guess, because he did play the Yasuo game. Jumped up into the top 10 in kills uh, with his 18 kills in the two games this week. So definitely a standout performer for Unlucky Retribution. And then we'll get to talk to DrWildy about how these games went down a little bit later on. So next, again, I don't want to say the expected result because it was a 2-1 for Sweet Anime Thighs, but Golden Gatekeepers pick up their first game win. Unfortunately, not able to pick up that match win as well. So Sweet Anime Thighs able to take that down.
Yeah, and I'm not positive. Maybe you know more. Like the gatekeepers had a lot of lineup shifts there, as you can see. Are those permanent in any way, or is that more of just the way it worked out this week kind of thing?
So they were told what time to play the game at, and those were the only two players that could make it. Not even their captain could make it. So it just kind of they found three subs, and the three subs were all on a separate team in some other league together. They all had the same clan tag, but they were they'd never played with them before, aren't planning to use them again necessarily. It was just kind of the circumstances that caused
Yeah.
it.
Well, I got you. I mean, they got their first game win at least, so everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, and Sweet Anime Thighs really strong early game in games 1 and 3 from what I have heard, my contacts on those two teams, um, and I'm not sure what happened game 2, but it looks like they kind of got run over by an Udyr.
Yeah, we've all been there. Um, I'm just gonna guess they got split pushed to death. But then again, he was in on 21 of their takedowns, so looks like more than anyone else on the team actually. So maybe it's a situation where he just became a one man army, sat in the sideline and challenged challenged Sweet Anime Thighs to come at me, and they did, and he killed them all.
But yeah, Killer last week on our podcast kind of threw the gauntlet down for himself, said that he really needed to go through some self improvement. I think 13-0-8 on LeBlanc is a pretty good performance.
It's a damn good start, yeah.
Um, our next one, again, the expected team won. Team Fish Tacos with the 2-1, but the game win for the 100 Steves, their first of the season again. It's
Yeah,
it's hard. I don't know if this is if we're going to see the Team Fish Taco that rolled them over in games 1 and 3, or if maybe we see bad Team Fish Taco at some point come back in one of these more important matchups. But all of a sudden they look a little bit vulnerable.
yeah, and it could be just the situation where the mentality isn't quite there because you feel like your opponent doesn't really stack up. So maybe you don't take it as seriously, and then you get sprung on. You end up dropping a game that you really didn't think you were going to drop. Sometimes those turn into series losses too. But I think Fish Taco will be fine. I could be wrong though.
Yeah. So let's jump into the spicier ones, I think. Landsneck with the 2-0 over Propulsion. This
Hmm.
was a big statement win for Landsneck.
So I agree, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. We had their top laner in jungle, and Aikato, a high impact jungler, a guy that gets shit done, not there. So how much does that play into it? Like if these two meet up in playoffs or leading up, well, yeah, it would have to be in playoffs, I guess. It's not a double round robin. So if these two meet in playoffs, how does that stack out with the full 5v5?
Yeah, I will say I know that Beniona played in the Diamond League last season, I believe.
Oh yeah,
So
he's not a slouch by any means. It's just a different dynamic, whenever you sub someone in. Being is a really strong top laner, um, but man, when you're used to Aikato in the jungle, it's hard to sub out.
yeah, Karamet had a really good series. I believe we saw that Kaisa game on stream, if I'm not mistaken. He was everywhere on that Kaisa pick, and he meant a lot to the stability of the Lanceneck team as they pushed through the game.
Yep. So I think it was the expected result. Just I don't know if it's quite a 2-0 next time.
But yeah, and Lanceneck started the season. They've had probably the toughest schedule. They've played Unlucky Retribution, they played Kansas State, and they've played Propulsion. I think that's right, at least. And those are three really good teams. And they
Yeah.
started 0-2. They're back to 1-2. They're even in game score, and they have everything to look forward to, I guess, in the in the bracket remaining.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be in too. You get a lot of momentum going into the playoffs.
Um, the other, the next game, Kansas Wesleyan 2-0 over Deathcap for Cutie. What's wrong with Deathcap for Cutie? I,
I don't know, man.
I know we weren't like super hype on Deathcap for Cutie, but we thought they were going to be like mid top of the table team, and they're 0-3.
Definitely not 0-3 is what we thought. Either one of us, and yeah, it's just the way it's shaken out because those are names I recognize on Death Cap, and I've seen do well in past splits. It might just be a situation where it's not coming together as a cohesive unit when you're playing against, other teams like Kansas Wesleyan, K State. These are university teams that their whole sole purpose for playing the game is to be a cohesive unit. So um, I don't know. Maybe they turn around the second half.
Yeah, Robux had a really huge series in top lane. He's the one diamond player on Kansas Wesleyan, and he really stepped up for this series in particular.
Looks like they like putting him on carries, so that would make sense. I mean, I would think maybe get a tankier jungle or something like that, but obviously it worked out this week, so fuck do I know.
So yeah, they're up to 2-1. They're on the up and up as well. Our last one, you got me pretty good on this one. Return of the Middle Sticks with the 2-0 over Kansas State. Uh, Fourth shot was a monster in this series, as was bot lane Kazekage, but that bot lane of Return of the Middle Sticks looks like it made the difference.
I mean, you can't fight fate, it was destined to be like it should be a 3-0 for Middle Sticks right now, but they're at 2-1, which is fine. So, um yeah, God bless. They're just going to keep trucking on.
Yeah, and Demon Print had his first really good series of the split. He showed that he was definitely a step better than Mortally Divine throughout the entire series, and that helped create a lot of the pressure that allowed that bot lane to get ahead. But as we'll see, our player of the week for Diamond is going to be FOTC fourth shot from Return of the Middle Sticks. 22-7 and 22 in two games. In what was our big hype game of the week. That 15 kill performance on Varus was the one that we saw on stream, and he just started tearing through Kansas State toward the end of that game.
Yep. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. At least if you're on the middle sticks train, like if you've got your ticket punched, it was very scary going into that into last week going up against K State. So
So yeah, let's take a peek at those standings. You can see the two teams at the top right now, Unlucky Retribution and Team Fish Taco. Again, you have to argue that Unlucky Retribution is far and away the favorite right now. They've had a relatively difficult schedule and have only dropped a single game to Landsneck out of it.
Yeah, I think I'm God, that's thick through the middle. There's so many 2-1s, and there's so many high points for each of those 2-1 teams. Like it's hard for me to sit here and just kind of contemplate top six. Um, whoever gets that seventh spot out of those teams sitting 2-1 right now, I'm sorry, man, that's gonna feel fucking bad.
Well, you've got that, and then you've got Landsneck sitting there at 1-2.
Right? Who deservedly could eke their way right back in it. Yeah, it's pretty fun to watch in Diamond Cap right now. I hope it stays competitive like this. I hope we don't have just like teams start to separate. I love it when the shit gets muddy right before playoffs.
Yeah, I know we were worried going into the season. We kind of had a list of teams that were haves and teams that were have-nots, and it seems like it's equalized just a little bit through the first couple of weeks.
For sure.
So let's jump into gold. We're going to start with Noxus, 2-0 for Ghost over Omega Wolves, 2-0 for Propulsion over Landsneck, 2-1 for Bingo Squad over Indigo Sky, and a 2-1 for Hardest Road over Jingo Squad. Ghost versus Omega Wolves. These were the two 1-1 teams, so a big separation game for both of them, and Ghost stepped up to the plate, and Essential Rain in particular. They gave him his Anivia both games, and then he played really well in both of them.
Yeah, I really like Ghost. I think they're solid people that I want to see do well, and so I'm really happy whenever they come out with the 2-0s. I think that they're really solid players. But the thing that I feel about Ghost is they have that team mentality about them. I don't get the whole vibe from them. Like, they're looking for one player to just pop off and carry them, and like they live and die by it. They will literally clump up as five and run around and do things on the map as a team. At least that's the way it feels to me from my side when I watch their games and when we've played against them.
Yeah, Omega Wolves feel kind of the other way. So far, Siver Me Timbers, when he's popped off, they've had success. When he hasn't popped off, they've struggled. Even it looks like in game one, which I think was the game on stream, Tristana got pretty far ahead, but it just didn't really matter. In the end, they were able, Ghost was able to lock her down, and
Yeah,
especially the Dr. Mundo running at her was pretty prohibitive to anything happening.
the numbers that we're looking at here would speak to exactly that. Nobody in game one on Ghost just, look, I mean, Danny Phantom on Jinx, 0-4-7. If you look at that, you're like, oh, that Jinx probably lost that game, especially when you compare it to a Tristana who went 7-2. But the thing is, again, they do everything as a cohesive unit. So,
So our next game was I used okay. So we used the color dropper this week. So these are all colors exactly from the logo. So hopefully they're not as big of eyesores, but that orange was pretty popping. Okay. Propulsion took the 2 over Landsneck. Landsneck not able to get that first two-game win streak in two splits, unfortunately for them. Um, these games weren't super close, honestly. Propulsion kind of ran them over.
nah, that's a tough ask. I mean, I know we were all hyped up for Land Snake, and um, I wanted to see the win streak happen, at least until if we ever run into them. But unfortunately, they get their first win. The next opponent up to the plate's Propulsion, and here we are.
Yeah, not a huge amount to say. Mayhuli played a really good series. It's his first, I guess, his first time to kind of step into the light. Normally, they seem like they play a lot around Boar, and instead, Mayhuli came up to the plate and is like, "Hey, we're actually a two, maybe three threat team with Drodvir every once in a while. You got to make sure you respect the Cassiopeia, the other picks in mid lane as well."
Yeah, I can only imagine like you lose game one, you're loading into game two, and you see a Nasus up in the top lane. And you're like, oh god. You just hope your York can outsplit push him, but that didn't happen.
Next one, Bingo Squad Gaming took home their first win over Indigo Sky. This was the tail of the bot lane, I think, is the one that we really want to track. When Karasuda and UMW support are doing well together, um, Bingo Squad looks like one of the best teams in the league. When they're struggling, when they're getting killed, it's a different game. And False Idols and Ublaga took advantage of that in game number two.
Yeah, and if you look through, you can see some interesting shifts. I mean, game one they had a sub. Game two, Hoec was back in the jungle, but game three, then he's back in mid because he popped off on Annie in game one, went 16. I wonder if I don't know, is that like walking into draft type of decision, or are they waiting through picking bands and then making those types of decisions? Because that can add a different layer to a team when they flex people around positions like that.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Jervil has played three different roles in League KC. There's two of them in top and jungle. He's also played support in League KC. Hoey has played jungle, AD carry, and mid lane. Like that was something that the Team Fusion from League KC last season was able to do a lot. They flexed their players around to different positions and put them on characters that they were strong at rather than like thinking more about a cohesive team comp. And it helped them a lot in League KC. I will see how it works for Bingo Squad here in OKLCS though.
Yeah, and Taco Trinecki making the return gank for Bingo Squad as well. I was actually interested to see how Indigo Sky would do with someone who's shown, he subbed last week and shown he could be a strong impact jungler. So I was interested to see how that would work out for them when I saw that the sub was in there, but it still yielded the same results. So maybe there's something else going on that they need to work out.
Yeah, even funnier, Taco Trinecki subbed for Omega Wolves in I don't remember if it was week one or week two. That was against Bingo Squad. He played Shaco and assassinated Karasuda like
Yeah,
12 times that game, and I don't believe that they let that Shaco come through picking bans this time.
probably not. There's too much PTSD associated with that.
The last Noxus game, Hardest Road, my team took home the 2-1 win over Jingo Squad. Um, I'm honestly kind of blacking this series out of my memory. Game one was a bit rough. We didn't pick enough initiation, and it really cost us. And then game two, I just kind of played Scion. Or game two and three, I just played Scion and existed. So
I mean, if you want initiation, yeah, you just pick Scion, and you don't even have to farm. You just have to get XP till level 6, press R, and boom, initiation.
also shout out to PG-13 dyslexic Gobi for changing his name literally in the lobby for game one.
Yeah, I thought you guys had a sub like in game one. And I was like, oh shit, like Gobi's not there, so how's this gonna work out? And then when Road lost, I was like, oh shit, they might have problems. And then of course I learned, oh, that's him. So
Yeah, literally in the lobby. We were sitting, ready check was on the table, and he's like, "Oh wait, guys," and he disconnects, and then he comes back with a different name. It was a good start to this series. We'll put it that way.
yeah, seems solid.
Um, Anyway, our Noxus standings after week number three. Propulsion and my team Hardest Road at the top. Propulsion has that one game score advantage. Ghost sitting solidly in number three, alone there at 2-1. You got that jumble of teams between 4 and 7, and then Indigo Sky currently bringing up their rear, but they're close on game score, honestly. But they're sitting there at the bottom of the standings.
I haven't looked at the scheduling for Noxus, like finishing out um, the non or the in conference games. I'm interested to see, obviously who dukes. I feel Jingo and Bingo duke it out for fourth place this week in the playoffs.
Yeah. I
I
will.
don't I don't know that 6, 7, or 8
Yeah.
challenge them for that.
The only preview I have is next week that matters, week five. It's Propulsion versus Hardest Road.
Man, God, I hope Jingo and Bingo play week 9. I hope it's the last week, and I hope they have 4-4 record
Yeah,
and
I know that
same game score.
I know they're playing really late in the season. I don't remember exactly which week.
That would be fantastic.
Um, Shifting focus a little over to Demacia. Power Flashes with the 2-0 win over your boys from Oklahoma Gold Rush. SEAL Team 6 with the 2-0 over 100 Steves. Piltover Pokes continuing their undefeated streak on 2-0 against Vicious and Delicious, and then TLP with the 2-1 over GSM. Um, so yeah, I'll let you talk about this series. Power Flashes with the 2-0 over Oklahoma Gold Rush.
I would say, if you summed this up, it was one team understood their win condition and one team didn't, or at least didn't play to it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and
I
and
hit.
it was go
Sorry.
ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Winged and I had the pleasure of casting game number one. It was it was the all global comp pretty much that just grouped up as five and tried to run people down, and it just didn't fit what the composition was supposed to do. I don't know what happened in game number two. It looks like Akali just kind of ran people over, but
Yeah, Kali got a little bit ahead. You know, um, I would say in game two we built more. Because that was essentially the talk. It's like, okay, if we're just gonna clump up anyways, let's get a Sejuani and a Braum and just do that. And then, we have a Vayne ADC with that, and we're like, oh, all right, well, I guess we'll make it work. But it didn't. So here we are.
uh, next, moving on. SEAL Team 6 took the 2-0 over 100 Steves. 100 Steves was up to 4 Steves this week, so that's an improvement at
A
least.
little bit closer, man.
We'll see if they can actually bring it home and have the 5 Steves for this week. This week they had Vid filling in, and then they had
Yeah,
the most awkward cast of the season, where both of them had played and got smashed in the game that they were casting.
that that does have to be awkward. It's also a little different to see Wrecker listed for SEAL Team 6 and then Vid listed for 100 Steves.
Yeah, we might get Cossacks listed on a third team later this season. You'll never
Just
know.
put Cossacks on OGR. It's fine.
But SEAL Team 6 took home their first win of the season. They looked a lot stronger. Again, you have to consider competition just a little bit, but um, even with that, they played pretty clean series and were able to take home that win.
I'd be interested to know if there was any like side bet going on because obviously all the dudes from SEAL Team 6 know Hunger Bunger and Vid. So um, I wonder what else was on. Surely they had something else going down with it.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned it on the cast, so unfortunately, unless we interview one of them on stream, we won't know for sure.
Yeah, and obviously it wasn't like shaving their head or dyeing their hair pink or anything. So
Piltover Pokes continued their undefeated spree. They picked up a 2-0 over Vicious and Delicious. Maybe a
yeah,
little bit surprising, although they had. Oh, this actually isn't quite correct on the copy. Might have to go back and fix that. But the substitute for Vicious and Delicious, Zoeos, actually played mid lane in game two, at least for sure. I don't know what they did other than that, but yeah, it was game two that was on stream. It was a really clean victory for Piltover Pokes. Brinticus earned the name Inticus, being the only person to die on his team.
I mean, I feel like, and obviously, Piltover Pokes have come in and made a pretty big splash here early. Um, we'll see how it ends up playing out. I feel like when we face them, we'll want to focus on Brenticus. I feel like he makes an impact and enables everyone else to do well. So if you want to shut down Alarm, if you want to shut down Kilgar and things like that, I think you shut down Brenticus first, and then that will spread out amongst the other lanes.
Yeah, I will say Alarm was down 50 CS in game number two to Revan Christ, but it just didn't ever translate into anything. And Alarm was playing Ashe, so he was pretty useful anyway, just able to pop people with the arrow whenever he wanted to and start fights. Um, the last game, Tastes Like Purple with the 2-1 over Gecko Slammer Armageddon. This series was a bloodbath, and Tastes Like Purple were able to take it home, mostly on the back of their 80 carry No Mind.
Yeah, I didn't get to. I don't think I caught this one, but just looking at the numbers, yeah, there's a lot of kills and a lot of deaths throughout for sure.
Yeah, I spectated the end of game number one. I just remember watching Levi's uh like defending the last part of his base with Varus, and he's like capped on attack speed, just railing down minions, and they were able to turn it back around. And then games two and three were also pretty close. It was both bot lanes looked very skilled, and the rest of the map was kind of struggling to keep up with what the bot lanes were dishing out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's interesting that No Mind was able to, pop off, and it looks like carry game 2 and game 3 without his usual support there. Whereas Levi's and Silver Spade, they've been together at least 2 splits now, playing in Plat last split. So I would think with the sub support, they would have been able to exploit that, but I guess that wasn't the case.
Yeah. So our player of the week for gold is Bingo Squad's gaming support, UMW support. He's our first support to win player of the week. He finished 6-7 and 43 in 3 games against Indigo Sky and picked up their first win of the season. 116 Recon on Pike. 116 on Recon, 3-5-10 on Pike in that loss, and then 2-1 and 17 on Morgana on the stream. He's very far in first in gold in assists. I think he's 23 ahead of the next person in assists, who is Celercia from Piltover Pokes. And then he's first in Noxus in assists per game and in KDA, or eighth in KDA. Uh, I don't know if he's the better half of him and Karasuda, but both of them have recently hit platinum. Both of them look very strong, and if that bot lane gets going, they're a team to be reckoned with. If the bot lane does not get going, Bingo Squad has looked pretty lost.
See, and this is I wish stats counted from the cross conference weeks, because I think that could put a nice little shakeup in who's leading what where. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then maybe people would take it more serious, but it's fine. This is fine.
Demacia standings after week number 3. Piltover Pokes and TLP both tied at 3-0. Piltover took the 1 spot based on they are higher in alphabetical order.
That's
Oklahoma Gold Rush is 2-1, and then there's a mess of teams between 4 and 7, and then 100 Steves bringing up the rear.
I'm surprised to see GSM at 1 and 2, to be honest.
Yeah, they've had a tougher schedule as well, though. They've played Power Flashes, they've played Piltover Pokes, and they've played TLP.
TLP. Yeah, you're not wrong. I just obviously getting top 4 is priority, and I feel this is another situation where 1 through 5, can be not debatable, but what contested, I guess. It's just going to be really feels bad for that number 5 team that probably will be deserving of a third or fourth spot.
Yeah, I think Vicious and Delicious is also pretty good. They're sitting in 7th right now because of the 2-0 week or the 0-2 week that they had to take week 1.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but I think that they're a better team than their record indicates right now. I think that SEAL Team 6 and 100 Steves are unfortunately the worst teams in Demacia, but the other 6 could all take games off of each other.
So vicious. If you're on vicious and delicious, how tilted are you right now, being at 1 and 2 and feeling that you're a better team? And do you have the mental to bring it back?
Yeah, it's a pretty short season that actually counts. It's only 7 games, so we've talked about it before, but 4-3 puts you in contention. You got to look at 5-2. You got to kind of look at winning out if you're one of those 1-2 teams in order to make sure that you're resting easy come that last week.
Yeah, I feel like that fourth place spot's going to be a little bit of a math equation that someone's going to have to solve, and it's going to again, there's going to be somebody probably 4 and 3 at fifth and maybe even sixth and not get in because of like game wins or something like that, or just the head-to-head matchups.
Twitch clips of the week. All right. This first one was courtesy of Panther on the Discord. Um, let's just watch this one. So we can see Blue Boric able to escape with just a sliver of health, ults backwards, and then gets killed by Redemption. Just beautiful Redemption spot by Silver Spade. Kind of unfortunate for Blue Boric wandering in there.
Yeah.
Um, Getting into some better plays. This one was courtesy of Liposuction Lane. Return of the Middle Sticks was setting up for Baron Bait at this point, drawing in Kansas State, and Liposuction Lane sees his
Baron right
opportunity.
now.
Wait,
They will get
quick
spotted out by
question.
this vision plant here. How there's a TP coming in
Yeah.
from liposuction lane, trying to catch out these
Where's
numbers of
Mundo?
Kansas State
This is
University here.
Plyman, and I don't see a
TP does
Mundo.
complete, and oh my goodness, he flashes over and knocks up two members of Kansas State, and Lord Care Bear will go down. However, Shockwave does come out. Yabienda doing a lot of damage in the backline. However, Demon Print flashes in. Ornhorn does come out onto Yabienda, and Yabienda will go down. Vibon trying to salvage this team fight, doing a lot of damage as Minion are, but it will not be enough. Now, it looks
Baron right now.
So it's only a 2 for 0 for Return of the Middle Sticks, but the awareness from Liposuction Lane to teleport in there and then flash and get that searing charge into the wall made it a pretty nice play.
Yeah, and I'd like to shout out Darren. Like, I really enjoyed his casting. I've been on a team that he's coached before, and I do feel like he's really knowledgeable and explains stuff in a way that is digestible for most people. But he also did a really solid job of play-by-play. So I hope Darren keeps coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. I really did enjoy his cast. This one courtesy of Azuki from
Though
Team Fish Taco.
makes the safe decision, backs off.
Yes.
Still no
Has
Mundo.
300 health and just got a kill, so why not go back and get some items? Oh, the ultimate comes out for Hexavon. Now Azuki is trying to win the fight, but he's oh my god!
Woof!
the
Really
knock
close
up.
fight in the top lane.
Yeah, the knock up and double proc saving Azuki gets the kill onto Hex. But
Yeah, the placement on that second hammer shock was really good. Seeing that Hexavon would come backwards out of the knock up from Keeper's Verdict. So really nice outplay for Azuki. Our last Plyman clip of the week comes courtesy of the Death Cap for Cutie versus Kansas Wesleyan game.
Running in the backside of that fight. So decided to come in from lane on the TP.
Wow, great job from Parallelogram turning around that fight. I believe.
Oh,
it
he's
was-
aggroing the Baron.
Oh no!
No, Parallelogram.
Oh! Parallelogram
That's definitely a
executed
Plyman
that.
highlight.
That one I actually clipped myself. So our last one. This is actually a good play, I promise. This one, thanks to Ro and Psycho for both clipping this one. I thought Ro's clip was very slightly better, so we're gonna go with that one. Here comes Scion, right into the bush. Oh, the wall!
Oh,
Able to
God,
block
that
him
wall.
off. Luke in trouble now as he'll go down. Mercury X trying to do something. The Cosmic Radiance buying a lot of time, and Mercury X will fall as well. The Crystallize, the big MVP from
was such a fantastic
Essential
ball.
Rain.
Also, is he maxing that?
So the last second wall from Essential Rain runs Scion directly into it and stops the big initiation from Mercury X and turns that team fight around.
Yeah, that was a pretty savage wall, man. I mean, right there, you immediately appreciate the Anivia pick, regardless of anything else that happened in that game.
So stepping back, I guess, looking at our superior analyst, let me go ahead and link that. I linked it in the Discord early. We have quite a few votes, but if you haven't gotten your vote in, here's the link to vote for who you think is going to win this week and try to extend your lead over Scrambles and I. Scrambles,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
what you had a good week last week. You only missed your
did.
own game.
Right? Yeah. I was only done in by myself.
Trust nobody, not even yourself.
Correct.
I had a little bit rougher week missing the Kansas State versus Return of the Middle Sticks, and then I picked Propulsion over Snack. Twitch chat followed me on that one at least, so I don't feel too bad. And then I took Vicious and Delicious over OSU in the upset, and I think that anytime I pick against OSU, it just gives them power, so I might just continue doing that so that they continue winning. But yeah,
I forget who was it. Somebody kept picking against 100 Thieves, and they won every time that it happened. I think it was a Mark. It doesn't matter.
yeah, I think it was Marks, and I thought it was Team Liquid, but regardless, yeah, caster. Analyst curse, I guess, in this case. Total standings right now. Scramble's currently about 4 games back right now at 28 and 14. Is that math right? No, he's 5 games back then. I'm 2 games back at 31 and 11, and Twitch chat currently is the superior analyst at 33 and 9. They apparently know Gold League, and nobody knows what's happening in Pliament.
Yeah, it's weird how when they vote after half the games are played, they get a lot of them right.
Yeah, so handicapping them by making them vote at the same time as us. We'll see if some of these guys can flip it back around. I see a lot of votes coming in right now, actually. So uh, we'll we'll see how that
I'm
goes. I'm gonna actually show it on stream so you know that I'm not cheating. Not that I'd be cheating for Twitch chat to have a lead right now anyway,
right.
um, but yeah, we'll go ahead and show the results at the end of the stream, and that'll be when we lock it down. So if you want to get in your vote before then, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, hopefully I crush it again because that'll get me back in the game.
Our week 4 preview now. As we shift gears, Unlucky Retribution going to take on Golden Gatekeepers, Team Fish Taco versus Oklahoma Diamond Rush, Sweet Anime Thighs versus Land Snack, Kansas Wesleyan versus the 100 Steves, Return of the Middle Sticks versus Propulsion Esports, and Deathcap for Cutie versus Kansas State. And our featured matches of the week, Sweet Anime Thighs versus Land Snack's going to be our first one. How do you see this one stacking up? I went ahead. We're doing our predictions at the same time, so you can see you predicted Sweet Anime Thighs, I predicted Land Snack.
You know, I feel like it's the upset time, so to speak. Um, maybe it's something Rose said on stream last week that inspired me. I don't have any real reason. It's just when I looked at the matchup, I went with anime. So
You just like the logo better, it drew you in.
it did. It
Well,
it did that.
I think Lansneck is the better team, honestly. Went ahead and clipped from the general chat in Discord. Shaq2, who's King Shaq Daddy, throwing down some trash talk prior to this match. Next week is probably one of the, if not the easiest matches that we'll have. I can't wait to play against the Plat side of our division, and then the upside down smiley face from King Shaq Daddy, throwing down
I'm
on the rest of the Plyman League.
Yeah, well, there's no meat beats this split, so I guess they got to look for it somewhere. But yeah, if you're gonna throw down the gauntlet, man, they better bring it. Especially being 1-2 against the 2-1 team. I mean, I obviously Snake can do it. It's just a question if will they do it.
Yeah. Our other featured match this week, we both agree on. We're taking Return of the Middle Sticks versus Propulsion. Um, yeah, what's your rationale for that pick?
I mean, I'm just on the train. Tickets punched. I'm all aboard. I've been riding in the bar car for a while now, but I think it just obviously I think last week was they were missing Aikado, and that's a big deal. This week I feel like Middle Sticks is that unit. They're just that they've got that cohesiveness. They've been together a long time and they've won a lot.
Yeah,
And I expect a lot out of them.
I got burned last week picking against them, picking Kansas State, so I'm back on the train. We're back on the Middle
Well,
Sticks hype
I'll,
train.
I'll buy you a drink.
Our other match predictions, we've both got Unlucky Retribution over Golden Gatekeepers, Team Fish Taco over Oklahoma Diamond Rush, Kansas Wesleyan over 100 Steves, and then Kansas State over Deathcap for Cutie. The rosters are accurate as far as they have been updated on the website. So if you guys turn in that roster change form and it gets updated on the website, I will change them on the list. But until then, those are officially listed as your starters. Uh, Next, we're looking at Gold Cross matches. We're going to go over each of these individually, so I'm just going to skip that one for now. Our number 1 seed matchup, Propulsion Esports versus the Piltover Pokes. I've got Propulsion, you've got Piltover. You got 30 seconds to convince me.
Brenticus v Siren. Arrest. The defense rests.
Boar Rider and Mayhuli versus Kilgar.
Yeah,
Tested team versus untested team.
I mean that's all fair and that's all well and good, and you may be right. Um, I just think when I look at everything else, it's all within the margin of error, right? Like, is Boar better than Alarm? I don't know. Is Alarm better than Boar? I don't know, but it's close. Everything is close everywhere except one spot, and I erred on that spot.
I apologize to Brenticus. I missed a C in his name. Sorry, Brenticus.
And you put a BR in front of the Inticus.
That's also true. Our other featured match this week, the other matchup of undefeated teams, is my team versus Tastes Like Purple. Uh, Yeah, we both wanted Hardest Road over Tastes Like Purple. I think we lost Scrambles for a second.
No, I'm back.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So yeah, I again tough one to call, but Hulk smash, right? So that's where I went with that one.
Yeah, again, these are hard to pick because, for instance, one of these teams might just pick Yasuo with 4 tanks that have knockups on it, and you really can't prepare for that, especially when you're told it's going to be a really troll game. Uh, so something like that might happen where things get shifted around just a little bit from where you expect them to be. But you never know. Ghost versus Oklahoma Gold Rush. We both picked your team over Ghost. I guess I need to defend that pick.
As I say, I'm always gonna pick my team. So
Yeah, Scrambles is on his own team's hype train. I've just got Duvranga and Ivory being a stronger duo bottom lane than Danny and Acidic Tom, and I think that difference really is going to set the tone. I think it's pretty even in other spots, but Duvranga and Ivory have been really standout performers this season, and I think that they could help carry what might be a closer game than expected.
and I like how you went ahead and just listed trilogy, which is fair.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened to Cybersex. We've only seen him in one game this split.
Yeah, he's around and he'll be at LAN if we make it. Luke actually lives in Ohio, so that probably won't be a thing. Um, so yeah, if we make LAN, expect Cybersex to be there. But until then,
Jingo Squad versus Gecko Slammer Armageddon. We actually picked each other's conferences, so that's kind of interesting. I've got GSM, you've got Jingo Squad. Um, I'm guessing your rationale is Thugs Bunny greater than El Zacco 69.
that's where it starts. But also, I got a little deflated on the GSM bot lane. To be honest, um, they had an opportunity in their last game that they could take on a team that had a sub support, and they weren't able to make it happen. So
Yeah, I don't really remember what my rationale was for GSM, but I did pick them. I've got Levi's and Silver Spade, I guess, on the mind. So yeah, I'm not going to defend it. We'll continue on. Power Flashes versus Landsneck. Unfortunately, looks like we think the Landsneck magic is over.
yeah, it is really sad to do that as well, to be honest, because it's cross conference, quote unquote, it doesn't count. So maybe something wackadoodle happens and Snake picks up. Wouldn't it be tragic though? Wouldn't that be terrible for them to get their second win in a game that doesn't, count? Um, so yeah, I just think Power Flashes wins.
Yeah. SEAL Team 6 versus Omega Wolves. I've got Omega Wolves. You've got SEAL Team 6. Uh, again, Charade greater than Luke.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Um, I just I always liked, I'm a big fan of Heimel. So yeah, let's go with that one for this too. Heimel OP.
See, I think SEAL Team 6 has been probably the most disappointing team in Gold Cap right so far.
You're you're not wrong. But at the
And
same time, you never know when a Graves 1v19, naked Nexus defense is going to break out.
all right. We got 2 more. Sorry. Bingo Squad over against Vicious and Delicious. We both got Bingo Squad. I think that this game's actually going to be very close. This is kind of the LKC finals rematch from last split, kind of, sort of. Um, you've got Hoey and you've got Karasuda from
Mm-hmm.
Team Fusion from last split. You've got Aziriously Lucky and Constant Stutter from Dude, Where's My Elo? Kind of reuniting. Bingo Squad, well, Fusion took that game pretty handily. I think they'll take this one pretty handily.
Yeah, I'm just happy that V&D's still in, to be honest, because like we had a similar situation last split with a team, and it just dissolved immediately once some stuff came out. So I'm glad that they were able to pick a guy up, put him in the spot, and seemingly still do well. But at the same time, I don't think they take down Karasuda and UMW support.
Yeah. Last match, the match of the defeated teams, but we've both got Indigo Sky over however many Steves are going to show up this week.
All right.
Uh,
And
I, I do
How
know
tragic.
Indigo Sky has a different roster from what's listed here, so I'm curious to see how that new roster works for them. But
I'm curious to see if they get the roster updates in. But also,
yeah,
how terrible is it? One of these teams gets a win, right? You're 0-3, you get a win, you feel good, you're like, this is great. And then you look at your standings and you're still 0-3.
it's that nice uphill battle.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and grab DrWildy. We've run just slightly over our time limit so far. I don't know how we're gonna grab him.
Let's see.
Is he in the GetRec server?
Oh, yeah,
Okay. Can we use the staff chat then? Just drag him in.
probably.
Okay.
Wait, is he in Get Wrecked? I don't know.
DrWildy, are you in GetRec server? If you are, jump into any chat channel in the GetRec server and we'll drag you into the staff chat. In other news, we're going to staff chat. Hey, okay.
Can we pull him in here?
I can, except that
There we go.
it wouldn't. Oh, okay.
We did it.
Hello.
Beautiful. Oh, you had to tag him? Oh, well, whatever. It works. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the most informal podcast in the entire world.
I don't know. Gafford runs pretty close to us. He's just got a slight edge because of Omen.
Slight edge by having a sponsor rather than none.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Maybe if you mention Me Undies, they'll sponsor this podcast. They seem to sponsor everything.
If there's any other staff members, go ahead and get on that one. We'll see how that goes. Go ahead and introduce yourself for your adoring fans out there in the Twitch chat.
Yes, hello, Twitch chat fans. I'm DrWildy or Devin Ashcraft. I've been playing League since like season 2 and have held Diamond for a good while. As you can see by my favorite champions, I used to be a support main, but this year I picked up jungle and it's been working out so far.
So, looking at the Twitch chat, there's been a lot of comments coming up to the interview, and now, of course, everyone seems pretty excited. Why is everyone so into DrWildy?
Well, a lot of the people that are spamming the chat are teammates or ex-teammates. If you can see in my picture, Mechanical Reaper, we played on the TNT team together, and then some of the other ones classmates or something. So I made them come, so I wasn't as lonely.
That's smart. I should do that more.
Dong is a blocked term
Yeah,
by the
I
auto
had
mod,
to.
by the way.
I had to approve it. So, Team Liquid wins. How happy are you?
Well, I've been a TSM fan forever, but whenever they kicked Double Lift, I realized how much I didn't enjoy TSM like members and how boring they were. So I just joined them on the hype, and yeah, Team Liquid's not disappointed this year except for at MSI, and hopefully they are better than NA usually shows up at Worlds. I'm hoping for out of groups after all the TSM disappointment.
That's understandable, and that's always what I root for. I mean, I'm an Echo Fox mark, but really, at the end of the day, what I want is NA to have a strong showing and do well. So if that goes through Team Liquid, then I'm all right with that.
Yeah, it seems to be every year that TSM or whatever team gets knocked out, it's just hype on whoever's still left, and that's good about NA. But then we all just end up shit talking everyone anyway.
So shifting that into where we're at now with Plymond, you guys are in first place, undefeated. what are some of the things that have put you in that spot in a very competitive league?
Yeah, I think besides our game one of the first week, we've been undefeated. And I think that goes to most of us being very committed to practicing as much as we can. Although mostly what we're doing is flex queue. But we've shored up our champion pools so that we can't really be banned out, and we have a really strong bot lane, a semi-consistent top laner, and a mid laner who's not afraid to go in or make the calls to do some risky plays. And so overall, just from that, I think we've just have a very strong roster here.
Last week we had a Plyman mid laner. This week we have a Plyman jungler. So second blue buff, where does that go?
Who's stronger? I think it depends. Most of the time, I will say it should go to the mid laner, but because of how jungle is right now, if you're not power farming or if you don't pull off any successful ganks, then you're like level 4 or level 5 when the blue buff spawns and the mid laner's 6. So if you're far behind, then I think you should just take it so you can catch up in the XP, but otherwise it should go mid.
God bless you, sir.
Because it's just ridiculous how much that a mid laner can do with the extra mana regen. As far as pushing the wave and getting forward vision on the enemy jungler or just roaming to make a play in another lane. Like it's not even just about if I am if I need it to get like a faster clear to gank. It's just getting mid priority is way too important in League of Legends right now. And even though Riot tried to nerf it with the mana regen in the middle of the season, I don't know how they're gonna change it without just nerfing overall wave clear on minions.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, I hate it when I'm in a situation because I get stuck jungle all the time. I hate it when I'm in a situation where, I've given every blue buff after spawn, and then 10 minutes into the game, I've already got an ADC taking red buffs, and then they're just like taking Gromp or chickens on their way through. Like I'm literally getting counter jungled by my own team, and then we go fight at Baron, we go fight at Dragon, and I'm like a level or two down, and they wonder why, oh, how
You
come
lose the
that's
smite fight.
right? How'd that smite fight go so wrong? Well, I don't know. Maybe it was 15 minutes ago when we started taxing all my camps.
Yeah. But I think that in the jungle right now, because of the XP change early game, I end up taxing my laners with a gank just by stealing their XP a lot. I think that's a really strong way to get ahead as a jungler is you gank, obviously, to try and get them ahead, but even if it doesn't work, you steal a few minions of XP, and so you're not as far behind
Yeah,
compared to the old jungle.
I'll subscribe to that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask especially at a diamond level, what's the big difference between a successful jungler and an unsuccessful jungler?
You kind of have to plan your path early, and it's pretty difficult now with the scuttles because there's a few different paths everyone can take. And very important things is realizing if the enemy jungler can clear wraiths or not, or raptors. Because if they can't, then if they start on the bot side on with the red buff, then there's no way they're going to go to that camp. So they're probably going to rush straight up to blue buff or to the top scuttle. But if they can do it, then there's a possibility they go to the bottom crab too. So planning out the first path is really important because if you can get those early scuttles, then it's going to help with the vision. But just for knowing where the enemy jungler is going to go will help your team out.
All right, so small talk aside, who challenges Unlucky Retribution in this league?
The only team
Mega's
that I'm worried about playing was Propulsion Esports, but because I think Aikido's a really strong jungler, probably the strongest in the league. But I know that as a team, we're way stronger than they are. So as long as I'm not feeding, then I feel like we'd still win that game. Other than that, I think that so far we played against who I thought was the second strongest team, Landsnake, and other than our first game int
Yeah,
is pretty
that was week
bad.
1. Maris didn't believe in you. How does that make you feel?
I didn't know how to expect either because it was the first time playing with that roster, and we definitely did mess up the first game. And back when I was on GSM, at once you start losing, it was just an instant tilt by everyone. So we somehow overcame that tilt, and we managed to pull it out.
So I think Ari has a good point. How do you feel about Fish Taco? They're the other undefeated team.
Yeah, I've looked at their games a bit. Honestly, I haven't researched the teams super unless we're playing against them next. But it seems like they're an okay team. I don't see anyone who seems to be a huge threat that's taking over their games. Maybe their 80 carry was kind of good in the first 2 games that I looked at. I haven't looked at their third game, but isn't their jungler just like a Master Yi player?
Well, it's Mistress Yi, so it seems to be more of like a, I don't know,
If I
gender
remember,
fluid Yi maybe. I don't.
yeah, they have like 250 games on Master Yi and nobody else. And I think that Master Yi can be a strong pick right now in a certain scenario, but I don't think that we'll allow it through anyway.
I mean, unfortunately, we don't get pick bans, but I don't think we've seen him on Yi
He
yet.
hasn't he hasn't gotten to play it yet. He's played I think like 5 games of Skarner and like 2 of Sejuani.
Okay, so just going on to tanks after this, and there's a Sejuani nerf in 8.18, so
Yeah, thank God.
he's got 1 champion. I don't know. He maybe
Maybe
hasn't just shown his champ
I
pool.
was gonna say maybe there's a whole bag of champions. We don't know. Maybe he just disguises it by only playing Yi and then playing Sejuani and Skarner when it's banned.
That's
But
true.
maybe
They're
there's,
undefeated, right?
yeah, they're undefeated for a reason.
And then uh, they've been 2-1 in both their games, I think.
They were 2-1 against 100 Steves. I only know that because we just covered short-term memory, you know.
Yeah.
So when do you guys play Fish Taco?
I don't think it's at least until after week 5.
You're gonna make me get the stats out here.
Yeah, I was just thinking I should have the
I
as much as
know that we play the Golden Gatekeepers, and then we play
KSU.
is it KSU or KWU?
You've got KSU and then KWU, and then game 1 of Super Week is Team Fish Taco. So that's week 7.
Okay.
God, you guys have a super week.
Yeah.
That's
we
that,
have
that shit's rough, man.
Man, I'm an admin named
Oh wait, no.
Scrambles.
I'm
And
looking at it right now. Unless they changed it, we play week 9.
oh, that's propulsion. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay. Yeah, for sure. That's week 9.
So yeah. Well, and if there's anything I've learned from being on GSM, you can start hot and then a patch will come and mess everything up. And in GSM's case, it was 3 just crazy patches that changed the game. So who knows? There could be a whole different jungle meta by then, but probably not since World's coming up. So we'll have to see. Um, I think we play against the easier teams starting from now until the Super Week, or whenever we play Propulsion. So I think we should hold the undefeated until then. I trust my team to hold it.
How do you feel about the two? Yeah, I don't want to say the two League KC teams coming in, but Kansas State and Return of the Middle Sticks. I guess what's your read on both of those teams so far?
For Return of the Middle Sticks, I see you guys hyping them up every week, but I don't. Have they even been? How impressive have they been? Who'd they lose to? KWU.
They threw really hard against KWU.
Yeah.
That was the super tragic game. They were up, I want to say 8K or 9K, and then threw a Baron.
I'm glad that we finally merged with Kansas because I think that we were starting to be short on teams at the beginning, and always like playing against new teams, even if they're really strong teams because I think that GetREC'd has something good going on, and it's good to have more competition and more people playing. But I don't really know them. I've been involved with the Oklahoma scene for a long time, so most of the players that are in the other teams, I'll kind of have a read on. I have watched most of the games, but I'm mostly watching for entertainment when I'm watching them.
Yeah, I like I like having it kind of, I guess I'll say the way it is, except for the Plymond aspect. I wish there were enough teams to field a full diamond and a full platinum,
Yeah,
with the Kansas teams and with the Oklahoma teams. But I like it being together. I think it just adds another layer to the onion, of competitiveness. You know what I mean? Just another reason, just the regionality to it.
I'm gonna
yeah.
stop you right there. Onion of competitiveness.
There's
Well, a layer
layers.
to the onion.
You peel back the diamond players, and the little plat players are sitting inside. Well, when you're playing against like plat players, they can sometimes just go crazy aggressive or make a play that you're not used to. And especially when you're jungling and you're tracking the jungler and you think he's going to be on these camps and then he shows up with a bot gank, it's kind of some things like that can throw you off.
Yeah, I will say I've noticed that doing the stats, like your team and Landsneck and Propulsion all play really low kill games compared to the some of the platinum teams, especially seeing like Kansas State and Return to the Middle Sticks just pop off like for 20 kills on their 80 carry all of a sudden. But it seems like even stomps for your teams, it's like 6 or 7 is the highest kill count in the game. Do you think that
For
it's
like an individual player
yeah,
or
for
for
like
the
an
whole team?
individual player? Sorry, need to clarify. So it seems like it's a little bit more like you're winning through tactics rather than just going super aggressive and killing people.
Yeah, I think our team is very focused on trying to track the jungler, which is why we're not making as many aggressive plays as when we don't know where he is. Although I try and keep, whatever information that I get to my laners, and they're making decisions based on that, like whether I need to come in for a gank or me just telling them to play a little safer because I know the enemy jungler is on that side of the map or the mid laner's roaming.
So
So yeah, we do play a little bit slower, and then when we see an objective, we'll we'll focus on that and try and play around getting it either safely or making the enemy team walk into us and make the mistake.
so is that you calling the shots primarily, or is it somebody else on your team, or is it kind of all of the voices at once?
I think that Jordan, Decay in the mid lane, and Gavi are the like talking a lot, and then I'm just feeding them as much information as I can, and they'll make the executive decision after that. A lot of our Baron calls have been by our support.
All right, so we're looking to keep our time frame a little shorter than like the 90 minutes we've been hitting. And I'm literally getting DMs right now. What's the spiciest take you have? And Twitch chat needs it to be good.
Um, I
Like
think
if you could say one thing that they were going to put on your tombstone and you just wanted to go down in blaze of glory, what do you say?
I got a spicy take. It's probably not going to be on a tombstone though.
That's fine. We'll take it. They'll take anything right now, it seems.
Okay, I'm just going to preface this by saying we have not played our week 4 match. And that is, I think, Golden Gatekeepers is the Golden Guardians of OKLCS, and they're going to remain a bottom tier team even if they try and change their roster. I don't think they'll have a chance against us. I also think that um, most of the OKLCS teams don't take us seriously enough and aren't practicing, and they really need to pick it up if they want to take us down.
God bless you, Devin. I know you tried.
Other than that, I'm pretty respectful in whatever case I can be, but against the teams that we've already played, I don't want to trash talk them too bad. They already know what's up.
I feel you, man. No, you use your trash talk through your play and winning, games and matches, right? You don't need, as Vince Lombardi said, whenever you score a touchdown, act like you've been there before. So that's where you're coming from, right?
That's right.
I got it. But yeah, with that, any other real parting words that you would like for Twitch chat or the OKLCS in general?
Pimp your stream if
Uh,
you have one, something like that.
I used
Yeah,
to stream, but I don't stream anymore.
yeah, we'll do the cutie pie. If people want more of you, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can add me on League. I'm happy to, chat with anyone, but I am not playing super lot amount of League. My League name is DrWildy, but I've been playing on another account called Magic Fountain because I've been trying to get every champion on that one. Parting words, thanks for having me on. I love playing in the OKLCS. It's a lot of fun and having the community aspect. Shout out to my team. They're kicking ass this season. They're doing their best out there, and that's all I can ask for.
I got one more question then. Is this the undefeated split for Unlucky Retribution?
11-0.
11-0. You heard it. So thanks to Dr. Wildy for joining us. Upcoming on the stream, 11 a.m. Saturday, the normal start time. We're gonna have Gold Capped with myself and with Wing Nation. We've got Bingo Squad versus Vicious and Delicious, Power Flashes versus Landsneck, Jingo Squad versus Gecko Slammer Mageddon, and Ghost versus Oklahoma Gold Rush. At 3 p.m., we've got Gold Capped with Vid. He's got Propulsion versus Piltover Pokes, TLP versus Hardest Road, SEAL Team 6 versus Omega Wolves, and 100 Steves versus Indigo Sky. At noon on Sunday, we'll have all of the Diamond Cap division. And then next week, we're back. We're going to recap the meme stream Dream Week and also the very serious Diamond Cap games that also happened. We're going to preview all of the matches for week 5, our Back to Sanity week, and then our guest next week is going to be Team Fish Tacos jungler Mistress Yi.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get a good response to the spicy, hopefully both 4-0 teams at that point in time, and see how that shakes out.
Yeah. The
Are we
pressure's
gonna
on, according to Mistress Yi in the chat.
are we gonna throw up the Twitch votes?
Oh, the Twitch votes. I should definitely do that.
Yeah, keep them honest, dude.
That sounds important.
They're
All right.
clearly the fix is in.
So we've got 29 responses in. You don't have to vote on every game. If you didn't know, it's all optional. So Unlucky Retribution, Dr. Wildy's team got 26 of the 28 votes that came through. 2 people believing in the Golden Gatekeepers. If Dr. Wildy's still with us, do you have any words for the fans of the Golden Gatekeepers?
Yeah, guys, did you misclick or something? You can go back and change your vote, I think.
Team Fish Taco is going to take down the vote over Oklahoma. I wrote that wrong. That's Diamond Rush, not Gold Rush. That's unlucky. Well, you might be playing Team Fish Taco this week, Scrambles. I don't know.
I mean, I'm down with that.
Okay, 50-50 for Sweet Anime Thighs versus Landsneck. Okay, we haven't had this happen before.
Oh shit.
So let's shout out in Twitch chat, or if somebody wants to vote right now, they can have the deciding vote between Sweet Anime Thighs and Landsneck.
That's legit 14-14.
We'll come back to it later. We'll see if we get another vote. Kansas Wesleyan over 100 Steves pretty handily. Return to the Middle Sticks getting a huge chunk of the votes over Propulsion. That goes pretty counter to what you were saying earlier, Mr. Wildy.
About which game?
Propulsion and Return to the Middle Sticks. It's 75% right now for Return to the Middle Sticks and 25 for Propulsion.
Well, I think that Aikido can carry the team. Hopefully, he's playing this week, and that who's their top laner, Moose on the loose.
Mhm.
He's a very reminiscent of Mechanical Reaper, and I believe they're friends. And I think that he's a really strong laner and can kind of dictate the enemy top laner. So if Return of Middle Sticks isn't used to playing in a 4v4 scenario, then it might be rough for them when Propulsion is usually playing in that kind of scenario. Split push, take over the top lane, puts their laner on pressure the whole game. And if I am correct, then Propulsion has a new mid laner, so I'm not sure how that's gonna pan out either. So
But-
maybe I can go the other way because
Yeah.
it's a new mid.
The insider knowledge. We'll see how it works out. But Return of the Middle Sticks will take the vote. Kansas State over Deathcap for Cutie. And then on our gold cap side, we've got a pretty big margin for Propulsion. I'm surprised it's as big as it is, honestly. That's 16 votes for Propulsion and 9 for Piltover Pokes. We've got people believing in my own team. Hardest Road 13 to 11, very slightly over Tastes Like Purple. All of these votes should be pretty close, honestly. Ghost takes down the 18 to 7 over Oklahoma Gold Rush. Do you have any
Huh.
words for the Twitch chat?
Yeah, but I don't want to say them because I'm a nice guy.
Gecko Slammer Armageddon with the vote over Jingo Squad. Power Flashes, it looks like just barely going to edge out Landsneck. That's a lot closer than I thought it would be. Omega Wolves also very close over, or that's SEAL Team 6 actually has the vote. SEAL Team 6 very close over Omega Wolves. That's a little bit surprising to me. And then Vicious and Delicious actually 60 to 40 over Bingo Squad. There's some interesting picks coming through. And then Indigo Sky with the 1 vote win over 100 Steves. Let's scroll back up. We got 1 vote in during that time. Where'd it go? Okay, we picked Landsneck. So Twitch chat's gonna pick Landsneck over Sweet Anime Thighs.
I think that Landsneck can probably pull it out since we've played against both those teams. I think that Landsneck was a stronger team. They're better at working together. And if Killer's not popping off in the mid lane, then he might just go 06 on TF again.
There's the call out we've been waiting for. It's subtle, but it's there. All right,
Well,
that'll.
Hey, you didn't ask me about Sweet Anime Thighs at all. I've been holding on to it.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
by all
Let's
means.
go ahead. Yeah.
Well, that was it.
That was it.
Killer was kind of holding that team back when we played against him, I thought.
We had
But-
him on last week. He did really own that loss and said that he was going to improve the rest of the split.
That's true. And I think that's a new account, correct? And that he got banned on his other account?
Yeah.
Yeah. When we looked him up, we saw silver and thought there's no way that this is what's actually happening.
Yeah, he's been climbing his way through silver. He's back up to like gold 4, gold 3 right now. He
Yeah.
posts
Hopefully
all
he's
the time.
got a bigger champion pool because I think he was just spamming Ari at the time. And so I don't remember if I don't think we gave him an Ari game.
Yeah,
and I think it showed.
I don't think he's seen Ari since week 1, so. Yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Really appreciate you all watching, and we'll hopefully see you. Well, hopefully see you Saturday first for our Gold Cast, and then we'll look forward to seeing you on next Wednesday with Mistress Yi from Team Fish Taco. We are still looking for guests for the rest of the season. The week after next, we're going to be doing mid-season awards. So we're really looking for somebody who has watched both the Diamond and the Gold Capped to be on with us and to go through the awards with us. So if you're up to that task, let us know. And if you'd like to be a guest on any week after that, again, let us know. We're always open to whoever. So thanks, guys, for watching.
Have a
And
great week, everybody.
we'll see you next week. Heart everyone except other top laners. Does that extend to Gold Cap, Mechanical Reaper?
This guy is the leader of the top lane support group, but he actually hates top laners. You heard it here first.
I'm like a substitute top laner. I got kind of forced into the role. I don't know. I just want to know if this is personal or not. He might already be gone.
Do what? I'm sorry.